Well, hey, welcome to Senior Moments. I'm Tommy Ellison, and if you're watching live, you must be either a friend or an acquaintance of mine on Facebook or maybe on YouTube because we're going live on both of those. It's live at 5, and I have 5 o'clock, so we're going to get started here. If you've never met me face to face, it kind of gives us something to look forward to. But I hope you enjoy it, and I would also appreciate it if you would certainly jump in and comment whenever you'd like. If you have an idea, a thought pertaining to what we're doing, or just checking in to say hi, that is perfectly fine as well. Either be from YouTube or from where's that other thing? Oh, Facebook. So anyway, Senior Moments is my blog or video blog, or what, I don't know what you want to call this, a podcast. That's what it is. It's a podcast. And, it's a collection, I guess, of stories starting to unveil themselves. This is, I believe, episode number 6. And these are the things that come to me as life lives on. And even though I don't know where I hid my keys to the car or had for breakfast, I can, for whatever reason, remember these things that happened, 50, 40, 30 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And this one is a special story today. It's called Going Stagg. Going Stagg. And the reason I call it that is, well, you'll find out in just a second. But, at age 73, I've survived and collected quite a few of these stories. And so anyway, welcome to Senior Moments. And I appreciate you joining in and look forward to your comments, whether it be live or as you watch the replay. Before I explain what Going Stagg is all about, because I know most people typically think of it as back in the day when you were maybe had a dance or a prom or whatever, and you didn't have a date, you would go stag, which meant you went by yourself and typically joined up with other guys that were there stag and looked at all the other guys with their dates and having fun. And so anyway, and I guess girls went stag too, maybe. That's where the guys and the gals maybe got together and from that stag line, so to speak. But before I talk about what I mean today by going stag, I need to tell you a little bit of a backstory. And it's got to do with my career, if you want to call it that, playing football at Samford University. We were a small college team. We were back then a Division II NCAA team. And so, most of the games that we were playing were then about a 3 or 4 state, region. I remember going to South Carolina, going to Appalachian State and Boone, North Carolina. We went out to Arkansas and played several games. But we played the Livingstons and the Jacksonville States and Troy and Carson Newman and a lot of the schools that were probably within what was amounting to be a bus drive away. And that bus drive was, it was something that, we didn't really look forward to because let's face it, you got a bunch of, linemen weighing in at 250, 260, somewhere in that neighborhood, and you're trying to cram yourself, 2 of you, into 2 double seats in a bus. And the thing about it was we always had the same bus. It was a Greyhound bus, and our driver was always the same as, and I don't even know his real name, but I think it is what we called him was EB. So EB would come and pick us up. And many times the coaches would follow in their own vehicles, I guess, to make more room on the bus. But there would be, 35, 40, 45 of us, however many that bus held. I don't ever remember us having 2 buses. So somewhere in that neighborhood. And so EB was always our driver. And so, there were a lot of stories about just what went on that bus. I remember one time we were coming back from some game, and I want to say it was Delta State. So we were coming back from Cleveland, Mississippi. It was a night game, so it was late at night. And Wayne Grubb, our head coach, always sat up on the very first row adjacent to the driver. And EB decided that he really, really, really needed to go, to the bathroom. But Wayne didn't want him to stop and, take the time to unload the bus and get the guys off. And, most of us were, say all of us, but many of us were asleep. And, so they literally, going down the highway at 65 miles an hour, probably changed places on the bus. And now Grubb is driving, and EB goes back to the restroom in the back of the bus. If you've ever been on a Greyhound bus, you know what I'm talking about. And but anyway, the funny thing that happened on this particular night was, Coach Grubb gave EB just enough time to kind of initiate and engage on him, doing number one there. And all of a sudden he just slams on the brakes. And you could hear EB hit the wall and holler in the back of the bus. And when he came back up, he was, of course, semi-drenched on the front of his pants. And they had to swap places again, and he had to ride the rest of the way in that condition. I always envied the guys, the little guys. We had a lot of little wide receivers like Steve Stewart and Emmett Lewis. These were like little 130, 140-pound wide receivers, what I call flat bellies. And they could climb up into the luggage rack and just kind of stretch out in the top of the luggage rack and go to sleep. Meanwhile, us linemen, we were kind of all crunched in and trying to find a place to get comfortable. And so, but anyway, here's the deal with going Stagg. We were I think 8-1, maybe 7-1. I'm not sure what our record was. We had lost to that school down in West Alabama. So this is what I'm talking about with that short-term memory thing. Anyway, we had lost one game, and so we were doing good. We had a great team that year, great defense, 4 shutouts that season. It was an amazing year. This was 1971, and so what happened was Coach Grubb comes running into our locker room after practice, and we're getting ready for our last game, and he flies and breaks through the door, yells at everybody, "Break down!" and everybody comes together, kind of like in a pregame situation. And he said, "I've just got the word from the NCAA, and guys, if we beat this last team we're playing this coming Saturday, we're going to go to Chicago. We're going to get on an airplane, and we're going to play in the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl." It was the national championship of Division II schools, and we were in the running, but we had to win that last game in order to go. Well, it was kind of like, "Hey man, we're going to go to the Chicago." Wait, did he say something about flying to Chicago? We're going to actually get on an airplane? I mean, we weren't like the D1 schools. We were just riding that darn bus everywhere we went somewhere. So the idea of getting on an airplane and flying to the game was just, that's like big time. Well, that's what got us fired up. So believe it or not, that coming Saturday, we just took names and kicked tail, and I don't even remember who we played last. I would have hated to have been them because we were fired up, and we won big, if I recall. In fact, I can probably tell you a little bit about it because I still have the program that my dear old mom, it was Delta State who we beat that last game. So I guess it was Newberry that we had won before. And Anyway, so we were waiting in the waiting room the following Monday, waiting for the news. Are we going or are we not? And Coach Grubb runs in again in his inimitable style, yells, "Break down! We're all there. We're waiting. We're ready. We're fired up. We're listening." And he says, "We're going to the Stagg Bowl." But there's been one change. The guys in Chicago don't want to host it anymore. So it's going to be in Phoenix City, Alabama. Now, a couple of us said, "Did he say it was going to be in Phoenix? I should have listened closer. Are we going to Phoenix, Arizona? Are we going to ride on a plane to Phoenix?" No, that's not what he said. He said it was Phoenix City, Alabama. You know, that little town in Alabama down near Columbus, Georgia, right across the river. They're so close to Georgia, they're on Eastern time. But Phoenix City, like the Chamber of Commerce or the Rotary Club or the Elks Lodge or somebody had decided to be the big-time sponsor for the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl. And here's the program. That's what it looked like. I'm not sure what my mom was eating at that game, but she left a little residue on it. But this was the official program of Samford versus Ohio Wesleyan. And as you can see, we won 20-10. A couple of little details about that, you know. Well, I guess before I do that, let me just say it was a bittersweet moment in the locker room because Phoenix City, I mean, that's like no-fly zone. I mean, another bus ride, another all-you-can-eat buffet at the Holiday Inn on the way down there, and that's a whole different story. I may or may not go into that before it's over with, but nevertheless, that was the deal about going Stagg. Yeah, we went to the Stagg Bowl, and yes, we won, and yes, we were Division II national champions. And I think I have a snapshot of the program here. As you can see, our one-loss record up until that point was 8-1. Livingston, that was the name of the school I was trying to think of. But there on the right side was your starting offense and defense, and you can see, yours truly down there starting at strong guard, number 76. And on the big-time roster, he weighed in at 250 pounds. That's been, about how many years ago. But anyway, Buddy Brown, Terry Knowles, Greg Presnell, Bobby Reynolds, myself, Bob Newton, who later went into coaching at Homewood, Larry Cox, a dentist up in North Alabama, Jimmy Nipper, who I went to high school with, Wayne Leathers, who was a great running back, Steve Stewart, Chuck Coggins. Steve was also a Fairfield guy. There were three of us on that team. And that was the starting offense that particular year. You know, I'm looking at that list and I'm thinking every one of those are still with us. They're still kicking, and I've seen some of them recently. The defense had George Xanthos, who I went to grammar school with, believe it or not. Buddy Nelson, who father was Dotson Nelson, a pastor of Mountain Brook Baptist Church for many years. Barry Lawler, Bruce Hart, Marvin Barton, Eddie Miner, rest in peace, my brother. David Jackson, Phil Lazenby, still coaching down in South Alabama, down near Bayside. Bayside Christian, I think, is the name of the school. David Winchester, retired from dentistry, and Dick Taylor, another that has passed away. So that was the roster. Hey, just looking at it, Michael Powell. Listen, I appreciate you watching there, brother. I just talked to Michael a few days ago, and I must have made an influence on him because he's sitting here watching us today. So, hey, Mike, thanks for joining us. You know, you're always welcome in my podcast. But nevertheless, that was the deal. That's what I meant by going Stagg. We played in the Stagg Bowl. We had a great time. We won. I'll tell you another little. Well, I don't know if I will or not. How long are we going here? We've already gone here probably about what, hour and a half, 16 minutes. I'll save that story for later. But I appreciate you watching today. That's my senior moment, my senior memory from days long gone by. And I know this memory doesn't mean much to any of you, although some of these players that might watch this will certainly remember it and the time we had and the great influence that our coaches had on us. And we were a band of brothers and an unforgettable experience. We still, have the ring that we won, and occasionally we get together and look back and tell these old war stories. And this is just one of them that was, I guess I'm being honest in saying it's being told from my perspective. So, nevertheless, I hope you guys have a great Sunday afternoon. And I wish you all well in the coming week. And I appreciate you coming to Senior Moments. Got another comment here from Pierre, another old Fairfield guy that's been around a while, as long as us, if not maybe a little bit longer. And appreciate the comment. Yeah, the Fairfield High School guys at Sanford. There was another one that came to Sanford. It was Mike Thrasher, might remember old tall Mike, long, tall drink of water. And he played a couple of years, but the year that this all went down, I think he had moved on. And as the Apostle Paul said, he had put away childish things and went about life without collegiate football. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thanks so much for watching. And by the way, I wish you would think about, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. It kind of helps my algorithm, whatever that is. And I'm told it helps my algorithm. I hope it helps my rheumatism. But anyway, hit the like button, do the notification button, and that way you'll get a little message when I go live again, which I try to do every Sunday afternoon. And I thank you for being here with me today. So let me get out of here, shut up, go eat some supper, and look forward to seeing you guys again next week, if not sooner.